Good morning, beautiful people! Welcome back to the Pi Strategy channel, ang gurang vlogger ng Kuwait, featuring Group 5. Well, let's not waste more time and get on to the video. So, as explained in the previous videos, I'm sure you all already know the different influences of communication in one's own cultural practices, habits, gender influences, and attitudes. So now, let us learn the 9 different types of nonverbal communication in order for us to understand the topic we will learn today. Number 1. Paralanguage. It is the how of saying something. Number 2. Language of flowers. The use of flowers based on the meaning of each type of flower. Number 3. The language of colors. The use of colors based on the meaning of each color. Number 4. The language of time. The language of time, also known as chronemics. The use of time based on position or power. Number 5. Language of space, also called proxemics. It is the use of space to show importance. Number 6. The language of touch. The use of touch to express what cannot be said. Number 7. Language of gestures. Number 8. Facial expression. The use of the eyes, eyebrows, cheeks, lips, nose, and forehead to show how the person feels. And lastly, number 9. Position and personal appearance. The way one carries and presents oneself. All of the above are types of nonverbal communication and are ways to deliver and to convey a meaning, intended or not.
You may think he or she is being clear about the message, but he or she may not realize that his or her nonverbal signals are saying something else. As we learned in the discussion of the dimensions of communication in our previous lessons, the most influential and important factor is that of culture. Many of our customs and traditions are about everything, from raising children to getting married, planting and harvesting, to cooking and serving food, are governed by culture. One of the customs that still exists in the Philippine society is the tradition of pagmamano po, which involves touching the hand of an elder to one's forehead to show respect. Pagmamano is now rarely used though, which has led to some elders to think that teenagers these days are rude and they wonder why their parents no longer teach their children good manners. Another example is when we ask permission. Another example is the way we ask permission to pass through 2 or more people who are conversing. We signal with our hands while saying pasintabi po or makikiraan po as we duck our head and shoulders. Perhaps many of today's youth no longer practice this because they do not know this conduct. Pasintabi po has been replaced by excuse me or sadly by saying nothing at all when passing between 2 people talking to each other. Other than culture, gender is the factor that is also included in the communication. Gender comes into communication when we categorize certain ways of speaking or using words as being masculine or feminine. Another is when we react to such communication precisely because we think they are masculine or feminine. We expect a male speaker to have a low-pitched voice like, hello, while we expect a female speaker to have a high-pitched voice,
Hello!
which is very much stereotypical and shouldn't be taken seriously as a matter of fact. First one is paralanguage. We are often told that when it comes to making others understand what we're trying to say, it is not so much what we say though, more so as to how we say it. Paralanguage is the study of the how. To put it simply, saying I love you with an angry tone is a contradictory message. Words of protest like, I don't want to go to school, may lose their fire when said in a soft voice. Like this example.
I don't want to go to school.
Another example is when a person apologizes but they spit out the words in a bold way, we do not believe that they are sincerely sorry.
Sorry!
If they speak lower and slower and there's a hint of tearfulness in their words, we believe that they are indeed sorry.
Sorry.
Tones or voices must match the content of the message if the message is understandable at all. It must also support the message. A message with strong points to deliver must be emphasized with a strong paralanguage.
Now, the second type is the language of flowers. Flowers say for many of us what we cannot say ourselves. These meanings are also influenced by culture and gender. Supposedly, only Filipino men can send flowers, women do not. Red roses are to be sent only to a female sweetheart or wife, no one else, and only on Valentine's Day or birthdays. Cue vivid example. Itong bulaklak ay para sa pinakamagandang babae na kagaya mo. Sus! Bolero, asa ka pa? But now, with flower shops pushing the idea that it is okay to send flowers on any occasion, men and women can send any kind of flower to anyone, whether this is an occasion or not. Nonverbal communication using flowers can become problematic when we move outside the Philippine culture. Fun fact! Hawaii's state flower is the plumeria, otherwise known as ascalachuchi in the Philippines. Many Filipinos may not feel welcome in Hawaii at all by a lake made of plumerias because calachuchi has a very strange smell to Filipinos. Filipinos also associate them more with a goodbye instead of a hello because they generally see these flowers at funeral homes or funeral occasions. The third type is language of colors. Colors can have different meanings based on the dictates of culture. Different colors mean different things in different places. This is extremely important for designers to know because without an awareness of the cultural significance of a particular color, you risk offending a bunch of people, whether or not you intend to offend them or not. Purple, for example, is a color of mourning in Thailand. In Western culture, however, it is associated with royalty, luxury, and wealthiness, and sometimes even magic. And in gender, boys and girls have always been associated with colors like pink and blue, so it is true that certain colors affect our moods.
Good morning to you all, I'm Dan and I'll be reporting to you the latest news and events. Over here we have Fayan, who has fallen into a disconcerting situation as a victim of miscommunication. So tell me the story as to how you ended up in an uncomfortable position.
As a human being, I've been humiliated so many times. But this is the last straw. I was attending a party that my neighbor had invited me to. I presume it was a welcoming party held for the new resident in our town. She was supposedly half German as well. Anyways, I accepted this opportunity with no hesitance, and which I, of course, the most generous person that I am, decided to bring welcoming gifts to her. Time skip. People were mingling with each other and having an overall great time. So I took this chance to offer my peace with her and mention about the gifts that I got for her. Turns out, gift in German was poison. I swear to you, I never felt more embarrassed. I was going to faint.
Thank you for sharing your story with us, Mrs. Fian. We all know these miscommunications will end up being our reputation ruiners. Though this simplifying situation occurs almost every time, we must be careful as these kinds of misunderstandings can lead to conflicts as well. I mean, just think of how many times couples or even friends have started fighting after one person misinterpreted what the other said or done. Unfortunately, this is all we have for today. This is Dan Tagra reporting breaking news live.
One is the language of time. Chronomics is the study of the use of time in nonverbal communication. Time perceptions include punctuality, willingness to wait, and interactions. When you order a meal at the fast food restaurant, what are your expectations for how long you will have to wait? When you order a pizza online for delivery, when do you expect it will arrive? If you order cable service for your home, when do you expect it might be delivered? The use of time can also use affect lifestyles, daily agendas, speed of speech, movements of how long people are willing to listen.
Fifth one is language of space. Proxemics, or the use of space, provides us an idea about how close or how far people are from the center of power or where a person is in the social ladder. When we discuss space in a non-verbal content, we mean the space between object and people. Space is often associated with the social rank and is an important part of business communication. Who gets the corner office? Why is the head of the table important? And who gets to sit in there? Another is a personal space, or the bubble of space surrounding each individual. As you walk down a flight of stairs, which side do you choose on? We may choose the right side, because we've learned that is what is expected. And people coming up the same stairs choose their right. The right choice ensures that people's space is not compromised. But what happens when someone comes up in the wrong side? They violate the understood rules of movement and often correct themselves. But what happens if they don't change the lanes as people move up and down the stairs? They may get weird looks or even get bumped as people in the crowds handle the invasion of their space. There are no lane markers and bubbles of space around each person moving with them, allowing for the possibility of collision. The sixth one is the language of touch. Haptics, or the use of touch, is one of the most powerful of the type of nonverbal communication. Like the language of flowers and colors, it can say what cannot be said verbally by the speaker. What differentiates this from among the other type of nonverbal communication is the fact that there is contact between the sender and the receiver of the message. Touch can comfort, anger, or encourage a person.
The seventh one is the language of gestures. Gestures are the most often used type of nonverbal communication. Speech, to be understandable and interesting to a listener, must be accompanied by different gestures. Emphasizing gestures that punctuate what we want to highlight are examples of this type, some of which are hand movements, like sign language, or even just a mere expression.
Lastly, posture and personal appearance. Posture and personal appearance are the last type of nonverbal communication. How one stands or sits in communicative situation tells the people around how one sees oneself as a speaker, one's attitude toward the message, and how one looks at the listener. When one carries oneself well and with confidence, people will want to listen. Listeners pay attention because they are made to feel important. Personal appearance also says a lot about the speaker and the message, especially in formal communicative situations. Being appropriately dressed shows the speaker's readiness and ability to deliver the message. Being dressed well also adds to one's self-confidence.
All types of nonverbal communication can assist a speaker in forming the message they wish to convey to the listener. Rarely does communication take place without one or more of these types of nonverbal communication. What must be remembered is that all of these are culture-bound and specific to some cultures but not in others. Miscommunication occurs when these cultural concepts clash with one another or simply do not meet. By that, we can say that miscommunication exists in all dimensions of communication, especially in the non-verbal dimensions, due to unfamiliarity with gender practices in other cultures and their society's customs and traditions. Stay tuned for more informative discussions, and don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications to get updated with a new learning experience. And see you again soon!